all you beautiful beings out there in the universe. It's Imani Joie, aka the AT Alien, here with another video. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. And today I just wanted to share a few tips that I've learned in my journey here in the Gambia of things that I wish I knew when living abroad for an extended period of time. This isn't my first time living abroad, this is actually my second time. But I've learned so much within the second time that I wish I knew in my first. So I'm here to talk about once the honeymoon stage is over. Like, you've been in your new country, you've been in your new place for about a month or two, and the honeymoon stage is kind of like coming to an end. You've done a lot of like the tourist things, or you've done a lot of things that you're just like, I'm in a new city, yes, and you're moving about and all of that, and you're exploring your new surroundings, and it's been wonderful. But as time goes on, because it is an extended stay, as time goes on, you kind of get into your routine, or things start to kind of flow at a more moderate pace. You're not as high paced anymore. You're just kind of going to your day to day. And so here are some things that I wish I knew about embracing the day to day in your extended stays in new countries. With your stays here, anywhere, you might have be a little homesick or miss the place that you've come from before, or something to that regard. That does happen, and you should embrace those feelings because they are natural. It's natural to miss where you come from. It's natural to be a little homesick. So I'd say when those feelings come, sit down with yourself, really think about it, and you can jot down what you miss about the place, or you can even call people who are still there. Reconnect to what you've said goodbye to temporarily or permanently. Just reconnect to those people in your life that are still familiar with that experience. Another thing I would say is when you're in that mood of like, these things are kind of getting mundane or monotonous, and I don't know how to break that rut, I would say go out and do something new. Or even if you're a homebody like myself, I would say cook something new, learn something new. Like here in the Gambia, I've been cooking a lot more. I've been on YouTube looking at new recipes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love to try this. And I think with making a meal for yourself, it grounds you in gratitude, because you realize like, wow, you have a meal, you have food to cook, you have sustenance for your stomach. And also learning a new skill or learning a new recipe can be fun. Like the other day I just made caramels, and I was like, I didn't even know it's only 3 ingredients, you guys. Like, who knew? So I think in being in a new place, sometimes you want to also try new things. So if you're feeling like, a little lackadaisical or a little out of sorts, a way to kind of recenter yourself is to make yourself a delicious meal. Another tip that I would say is to go out in nature wherever you are. Just taking a little stroll out in nature, getting outside is very helpful. Again, I am a homebody, so I'm really saying this to myself, but also to you guys in regards to like, it does help, because when those waves and ebbs and flows come as you're in a new place, especially if you're a solo traveler, it can be very draining at times. It's fun, it's full of like ups, but then there are those moments where you come back down. And so when you do come back down into like your ebbs and flows, I would say just get back out in nature. Even if you're stepping outside for a minute to soak in some sun, going out to the park. For me, it's going out to the beach here, or even my backyard. Just get out there and excuse me, explore a little bit more. I also wanted to say, when you're moving to a new place and you've settled in and you're feeling like, is this the right thing to do, or where am I moving forward, and you're in that bit of a lull, I would just say remind yourself of your why. Like, why did you take that move? What intrigued you to go to that new place in the first place? Why did you say you wanted to go? Or just remind yourself of your why, whatever it is. If it's for your job, if it's for your family, if it's for yourself, like just remind yourself why you did that, why you made that choice. And in doing so and reminding yourself, it can also help to reground you, recenter you, and to help you get back into that state of, yes, this is where I'm meant to be, and I know this for a fact. And also, if you ask yourself why, and you're now saying like, okay, well, I think this isn't the way I thought it would go, or it's not exactly lining up to where I thought it would be, take another step back and to analyze that as well. Also, I'm a Virgo, so I like to like analyze and like question things. So a lot of my tips and tricks are, yeah, think about it, like analyze it, get to know why, and pinch down to the reasons, because it does help. Like once you see your reason, you at least know how to move forward in your solution, because there's always a solution for every problem. So if you're in a lull and you're like, I don't know why I'm here, take a step back and remind yourself, like, why am I here? What brought me here in the first place? And see if it still aligns with where you're moving forward, like if it still aligns with your path that you see for yourself. Another tip that I think is helpful for anyone exploring a new place for a long time or extended time, and they want to reconnect and ground themselves a little more, would be to journal, or at least keep track of like your day-to-days or your week-to-weeks or month-to-months. Like, I know it can be hard to do like a day-to-day thing, but even if you're just checking in with yourself and saying, hey, how am I feeling today? What's going on? What's new with me? It's really good to sit down with yourself and to reflect. And I think it will center yourself more when you're in those lulls. And I'll just speak for personal experience. Like, I moved to China a few years back by myself. I was with a program teaching English, but it was my first time abroad. My first time alone abroad in a new country where I'll be staying extended periods of time. And the first time it did kind of hit me a little hard. Like I got a little homesick. I got a little like, ooh, I'm in a new place and it's not really settling with me quite well. And so I wish I'd known these tips just to kind of recenter and check back in. And I'm making it for my past self, your current self, my future self, just to be like, hey, it's all right to kind of feel like, oh, is this settling in? And if it's not, you can take a step back and reflect as to why, and what are some things that you can do to improve that transition state. Because, again, the honeymoon stage, it's like glam, glitz, lights. You're like, I am in a new place. This is exciting. Like, this is it. But you can't keep that momentum forever. Eventually you have to kind of settle down into your regular day, and that juxtaposition of like yeah to then settling down to normal can feel jarring. And sometimes it feels like, oh, am I doing something wrong? Like at the beginning it was so electrifying, it was so magnetizing, and all of these things. And it still is. It's just our energy level has shifted into now moderating itself. So when you feel like you're being more moderate in your experience, just know that that means you're settling in and you're transitioning into your day-to-day, and it's a good sign. But if ever you find yourself in a position of feeling a little low and needing some time to reflect, I'd say take that time. It's important. And something that my mom recently reminded me is that when you're losing a friend or your hometown or something, when you're saying goodbye, you have to grieve that goodbye. It's natural. So when you're grieving your stay, it's okay. And know that you're on your right path. You're in the right zone, and it's all right. But just if you want to bring some of that levity, some of that positivity back, here are some tips. Again, I would say get outside, get out in nature, take a little walk, be open to new experiences, i.e. new hobbies, new activities, going out to new places you've never been before, being open to meeting new people, taking a different route. Like if you're kind of going to the same route and things like that, just take a different route just to see how that goes for you. Also, journaling is very important, to just kind of sit and reflect with yourself and see how you're moving forward, and just know that you're on your right path. Everything's okay. I hope you guys have enjoyed. I hope some of these tips have brought you some comfort that you can use in any move that you take, whether it's abroad, whether it's down the street, whether it's like the next state over. Just remember that when you're in a new place, you're gonna have your highs and you're gonna have your lows, but it's all right to have both, and there's a balance between the two. So that's all. All right, you guys, have a great day. Bye.